subscribe to James the Sheriff Dixon, you motherfuckers.
This is Fun Times with the Sheriff, Season 4, Episode 3. I got Gray back on. Introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Grey Aria. I am a Twitch streamer. You can find me at twitch.tv/Grey Aria. That's GreyAria.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I do a lot of community gaming. I also do I play RPGs and stuff like that. I'm a recent Fortnite convert, so that's kind of weird, but it's actually fun. So
Tonight we're going to talk about Morgan Freeman.
Absolutely.
So was there one we wanted to start out with?
The classic Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is. I mean, there's a reason it's been named like a cultural icon. I think it's in the Library of Congress as a cultural touchstone for American cinema.
Yep.
It's based on a short story by Stephen King called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, and he plays Red. And that movie was just it was so good. I'm a huge Stephen King fan too.
Me as well.
And sorry.
I said me as well.
Yeah. So reading, and it's with Stephen King, a lot of his stuff doesn't translate well to screen, just because it's so it's a lot. And I don't think the technology has really existed until recently to really do a lot of his stories justice.
Yeah, the last couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, but The Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite movies. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody who dislikes it.
Yeah.
He portrayed Red perfectly.
And then I know it's a movie that I think almost everybody's seen too.
Yeah, it's if you Google a list of top 10 movies, most likely Shawshank Redemption is going to be in it. And it's so good because it doesn't shy away from the horrors of prison, especially back, back in those days, chain gangs and stuff like that. And I think it's such a good movie.
Yeah, all right, so we can jump to the next one. One of my personal favorites is he was in the Christian Bale Dark Knight movies.
Yes. He was fantastic in there. Kind of a smaller role, but that's the thing with Morgan Freeman is any role he plays doesn't really feel like a small role.
Yeah, once he's on screen, it's like, oh, it's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, he just commands, and any role that you put him in, be it a bad guy, be it an old crotchety guy, be it God,
Yeah.
he shines, even in his smallest roles. I think he's fantastic.
And Heath Ledger bounced off that movie too.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think another good one is Seven.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
The famous "What's in the box?" It's just such a good movie. Both Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
It's one of his younger roles too.
Yeah, and Kevin Spacey. Problematic as he is these days, there's no denying that he is a terrific actor.
Yeah. And
the three of them it's just another great movie.
When we were talking last time, you said another one of your favorites is the Bucket List.
Yes, him and Jack Nicholson. They were both old, grumpy guys, both dying, and it was really interesting to see them juxtaposed. And I think they did the movie so well. And it's really unfortunate because I don't really hear people talking about that movie ever.
Yeah, there was a time where that was one of my favorites, a while back.
Yeah, it's great. I love watching them be pissed off old guys and then slowly form a bond, even though they both remained crotchety old men. I thought it was fantastic.
Have you seen the Olympus Has Fallen movies because I know he plays the president in those movies.
I am aware of those movies. I haven't seen them. I saw the other movie that came out around the. You know how Hollywood does the thing sometimes where they come out with two movies around the same time that are basically the same thing?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, the Jamie Foxx one, right?
Yes, I saw that one, but I don't think that I saw Olympus Has Fallen.
It's pretty much the same premise.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how Hollywood does that. There's several times that they've done that.
Like, speaking of Deep Impact, he was in that, and there was Armageddon, which came out around the same time.
Right. I'm a huge science nerd, especially astronomy. I'm really into astronomy, and when that movie came out, I was a teenager. And I remember I saw both movies, and I liked Deep Impact for the visual effects. I liked Armageddon because I was like 15. It was like the love story and all that. It was all right. Now that I look back on it, it's still a fun watch.
Yeah.
But I think Deep Impact was better at showing how humans would actually react to something like that. And I thought he was great as president. Yeah. He brought a lot of gravity to the role.
I'm also looking at the Now You See Me movies. He was in those ones as well. I almost forgot about those.
I think there was another movie that came out around the time that was similar to that. So I don't think I saw Now You See Me.
It's got Mark Ruffalo, Jesse Eisenberg, and a whole bunch of
Yeah, they play like they like pull off a heist, right?
Yeah,
they're magicians and they pull off a heist.
Yeah, it's like a magical like heist thing. Yeah, like magicians.
Right.
Yeah. So Transcendence, have you seen that one, right?
Yes. I actually recently watched that for the first time, and he again played kind of a small role in it.
Was great, though.
Yeah, but I loved it. I thought it was really interesting how he played off the heroine. I can't remember her name. Sorry. How he played off the heroine, trying to kind of save her.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to watch him be concerned for her. I loved that beginning scene with the cake.
Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't seen it, I don't want to spoil it, but I thought that was so good. I actually think that was probably one of the best scenes in the movie, with the cake.
And I think this is one of the movies that were slept on because there was not like that much promo or whatever when it like first came out.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it until you recommended it to me. I think it's on HBO. I think that's where I watched it. But it's a good, I think, hour and a half, almost 2 hour runtime. It's a good watch. It really is. Especially considering when it was made, the visual effects are really good.
Yep, and it's about like AI and all that stuff.
Right. It's really good. What's oh my gosh, I'm spacing his name. Jack Sparrow. Oh my gosh.
Johnny Depp.
Thank you.
Yep.
I thought he was great in it. Everybody was really good in that movie.
And I'm looking at the list here. I'm blanking out right now. I'm looking at the list here, and Going in Style. That's the one I saw on Netflix a while back, and that was a really good movie.
You know, I don't think I've seen that one. Have you seen Driving Miss Daisy?
No.
That's a really good one. It's about a black man played by Morgan Freeman who drives this white woman. He's her driver, and it's kind of about this relationship that they form. I think it takes place in the 50s.
Yeah,
so it's when racial tensions were, I mean, they still are high, but it was back when, it was back during getting black kids into schools and stuff like that in the South, and it's just a terrific movie.
And speaking of the Transcendence thing from earlier, I'm looking at the Lucy. He was in that.
Yeah, Lucy was good.
with Scarlett Johansson as the main character. With the
I actually recently just watched that. Yeah.
And it's about her getting, which is false by the way, 10% thing of the brain.
Yeah, that's one of those like sort of those things that I think people tell themselves to make themselves feel better. It's just one of those weird things that everybody thinks is true but isn't.
Yeah, and then like you brought up earlier, he played God in Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey as the main character.
Yeah, another small role, but him in that white suit, I think was just awesome. I also loved that he kind of had the hobby of just sweeping the floors. So he appeared really humble. I think I think one of the better portrayals of God, and I'm myself not religious, but I think it's one of the better portrayals of God as like a kind, sympathetic God. Whereas like a lot of times portrayals of God tend to be, they don't have a lot of humility. And I think he brought a lot of humility to that role.
Then another one a few years later, I completely forgot about this one. It was also in Evan Almighty, but with Steve Carell as the...
Yeah, that movie I didn't like quite so much. It was all right, but his role again in that was good. I think I just didn't like that one. The story was kind of weird and...
Oh yeah, this one was definitely way more weirder than just building the... Yeah.
Have you seen, I think this is one of his lesser known ones, and I think it's kind of overshadowed by Malcolm X with, oh my gosh, he was in Training Day, I can't remember his name, but, Morgan Freeman actually also portrayed Malcolm X in a movie called Death of a Prophet.
I'm trying to get up here.
Yeah, Malcolm X was a famous activist, very controversial at the time, still probably controversial today. I have to remember who. As soon as I see the name, I'm gonna know. Like I'm gonna be so irritated.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list here now too, and there was another one I'm just seeing that came across. Let me click through it here.
Oh, also it's Denzel Washington that I was thinking of.
Okay, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great movie. But Death of a Prophet, I think it is a bit overshadowed by the Malcolm X movie. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it, and it is one of his lesser-known movies.
And then there's one we almost glossed over, which he plays a general in this one. It's Outbreak.
Yes! Outbreak was so good! And it's weird, like, thinking back on all these, like, pandemic-based movies after COVID.
Yeah.
You kind of, like, look at it, and you're like, huh. All right, yeah, that's pretty accurate actually to how people would react, like, and then
like the movie Contagion so that one, yeah.
Contagion was amazing. I think the problem with Contagion though is that it portrayed people acting better than a lot of people did act and are still acting because it is an ongoing pandemic. I think people in Contagion were, that's ideally how humanity would have reacted to that instead of what we got. Mm-hmm. But, at least now we know.
And there's a movie I completely forgot about, Oblivion.
Remind me about Oblivion.
It's about Earth in the future. I'm looking at the story right now because I completely forgot about it. I think that's about it. It's about post-apocalyptic Earth in the future, and it's Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
I hadn't heard of this movie.
I'm just looking at the list here. I think I want to say I've seen it, but it came out 2013, so a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, 9 years? But time feels like nothing right now. So 2020 seems like it was like a month ago.
Yeah.
So.
Then there's one I also completely glossed over. He was in the Lego movie.
Oh, he was. You're right. I completely forgot about that. The Lego movie, I was like really apprehensive of at first because
So was I.
yeah, so many movies coming out they're just cash grabs,
Yeah.
and that movie was actually really good.
I still haven't seen the second one yet.
I haven't either, but I really, really enjoyed the first one.
So I think we've went through everything here on the list.
Pretty much. I mean, he's been in at least 100 movies.
Yeah.
He's one of the great American actors. If you're like anybody listening, if you're really not familiar with Morgan Freeman, just watch, The Shawshank Redemption, watch The Dark Knight, watch Death of a Prophet. Just Google Morgan Freeman. He was in a really good movie called Glory that was about Civil War soldiers fighting for the North.
Yeah.
Black soldiers fighting for the North. That was a fantastic movie as well. Just anything that you watch with him in it is good, basically.
Yeah, I agree. So is there any last words you want to say? Anything you want to promote, whatever, before we end it here?
I guess just my Twitch channel again. Again, it's twitch.tv/Grey Aria. That's GreyAria. I haven't been streaming too much lately. I've been dealing with some health problems, but I'm getting back into it. Do a lot of community stuff. James is one of my longtime subscribers.
Yep.
Which I love. It was so great. I took kind of a break and came back, and you're still here, and it's amazing. So I thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And I thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Then thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Right. I just want to shout out an amazing channel, James the Sheriff Dixon. Oh, he's such a great guy, and he is super cool for coming to the show. I'm glad I got to meet him in person, and you should subscribe.